We are approaching Thanksgiving, and that means it's time to start working on your turkey for your family this holiday season. I'm gonna show you my favorite method to not only come up with the juiciest smoked turkey, but also one of the most flavorful. I've been working on this smoked turkey recipe for years, and I've got the rub down, I've got the injection down, and I've got the times and temperatures down. So let's get started, and I'm gonna show you exactly what it takes to make the perfect spatchcock turkey for your holiday season. So one of the biggest challenges when it comes to smoking a turkey and getting a good smoke profile is maintaining a nice crispy skin. Now I'm gonna tell you, I've tested everything: wet brine, dry brine, no brine, and I will say that if you want a crispier skin, the best thing that you could do is do a dry brine. So last night, I took this turkey out of the package, I put it on a cooling rack on top of a cookie sheet, and I hit it with a little bit of garlic salt. I like this because it's a very good coarse rub, and I can control the amount of salt. Now, I did that all over the front and back of this turkey. By doing so, it helps to draw the moisture out and push it right back in, and it also helps keep that skin dry, which is inevitably what it's gonna take to get a nice crispy skin. Now today for this turkey, we are gonna be spatchcocking it. It's my favorite method. It cooks the fastest and the most even, and it's just a lot easier. You don't have to truss it. You don't have to do anything like that. So right here, we've got a 15-pound turkey. I dry brined this thing overnight. Like I said, it is time to get this thing prepared. So I'm gonna take out the little hanger that they give here, and I'm gonna flip this thing onto its stomach. Now, if you've never spatchcocked a bird before, get yourself a good pair of poultry scissors. I'll put them down in the description, a link to the ones that I use, and it really truly makes spatchcocking a lot easier. But essentially what you're looking to do is cut the spine out just like this, about 2 inches of the back itself. You need to cut up one side, cut up the other, and rip the back right out. So we're gonna get started. Now, some of these bones are a little bit harder to cut than others. That's why it's important to have a good pair of poultry shears. It's also is nice to have a good sharp knife in case you need to cut through any of the skin or fat, because these scissors here are not meant for precise cutting. They're meant for breaking bones and really getting through. I got my knife here. All right. Now I'm extremely right-handed, so I'm gonna spin this around and I'm gonna start cutting through on this side. Now these bones can get sharp, so be careful. They will actually poke you or prick you or tear your gloves. And that right there is the turkey back or spine. So in terms of spatchcocking, we've just done the hardest part. Now take your sharp knife, give it a whack right there behind the breastbone and give it a nice little crack like that. Now, while we're back here, get yourself a paper towel and just kind of wipe that. Take a look. You may have some bone fragments or chips that may have come off while we were going through and cutting those. But this one here looks pretty good. Now, I do like to take my knife and take any big chunks of fat or flesh that may be hanging off, because those are just gonna burn. So I do a little bit of trimming. Now, when it comes to rubs, my favorite kind of rub for turkey is a good herb-based rub. So I'm using the Grillaholics Herbaceous Hen. This is one of my favorite poultry rubs, along with the Spiceology Turkey Rub. I just like a good, earthy, herb-based rub. Now, this doesn't have a ton of salt in it. That's why I could get away with using the garlic salt last night for the dry brine. I don't have to worry about over-salting it. Take the back side of my glove here and just pat that into the cavity here. All right. Now grab those legs and flip the old bird over. Now I'll take my paper towel here and I'm just gonna pat dry the surface a little bit. Get any excess moisture that may be sitting on the surface here. And that there is gonna help crisp up that skin. Then take your sharp knife here, and I like to cut a little bit of this skin. I like to cape that turkey just a little bit, like so. You don't need that flopping around. And that covers the breast. That is perfectly fine. Now it's back at it with the Herbaceous Hen. And we want to get a nice, generous coating here. Now we've got that turkey seasoned up, and as you can see, it's looking pretty good. But I'm gonna tell you what, if you're not injecting your bird, you're doing something wrong. So I'm gonna show you my injection. The recipe's down in the description. This is my favorite, and it comes out absolutely delicious. So when it comes to my injection, I use a butter base, and I like a good sweet and savory. I like a little bit of everything. So we've got things like brown sugar, salt, pepper, barbecue rub, garlic powder, Italian seasonings, and let me tell you what, it is absolutely delicious. So I'm gonna give it a nice little stir here, just to make sure any sediment comes up off the bottom. I'm gonna get my syringe filled here. Now what I like to do is I like to poke into each breast and give a full syringe into each breast. And we're gonna move around in the intermuscular tissue here, back out, push in a little bit more. Get another syringe full, and we'll get into this breast as well. And then I like to go through and do the same for the thighs and the legs. I know that they're juicy to begin with, but we want to get a little bit more flavor down in there. So we're gonna pump these full as well. Now that we got this thing seasoned and injected, it's time to get it onto the smoker. So today I'm gonna be using the Camp Chef Woodwind Pro. We're gonna be running this thing at 320 degrees, and we're gonna be putting some hickory hardwood chunks into that smoke box. Now let's get this thing over there and get it onto the smoker. Let's get this door lifted up. Oh, look at that good hickory smoke. I'm gonna move it over here away from the heat source. I'm gonna take my seasoning here and just touch it up a little bit. Since we did move it, some of that seasoning itself actually is gonna get knocked off. And then I've got one last little thing that I'm going to do with this. My last little step is to hit it with just a quick spritz of duck fat. That will help get a nice golden finish on that turkey. And that's about it. We're gonna get a couple of the Camp Chef professional probes down into this bird, and it'll be time to just go inside, watch some Sunday football, and not worry about this turkey for several hours. All right, this turkey is reading 165 degrees in the breast. Let's get these probes out. And it is time to get this turkey off. Now, I find it easiest to use a pair of tongs and a spatula so you can kind of get around it and get underneath it at the same time. Just like so. Let's get this over to the table. We'll give it a few minutes to rest, and we'll cut into it and see exactly how good it is. Man, oh man, this turkey is done, and as you can see, we achieved some beautiful colors. This thing has some nice crispy skin, nice and juicy, and it was registering almost evenly from one breast to the other. We gave this about 5 minutes to cool, 10 minutes to cool while I took some pictures and some B-roll, but it is time to cut into this now and see how good of a turkey we made. Now I'm gonna tell you right now that I love doing spatchcock turkeys because this is a very easy way to cook evenly and cook pretty quick. I mean, I'm looking at the time right now. We had this thing in for about 3.5 hours or so, and we were at 320 and then finished it up at 350. And to be honest with you, in that amount of time, 3 hours and 20 minutes, 3 hours and 30 minutes, that's incredible because this thing looks great. I'm gonna hit this with my chef's knife here, and we're gonna start slicing this up. Now, I personally like to remove the quarters first. Kind of just gets them out of the way. I mean, shit, look at that. God, this is like actually crispy. I can hear it like crunching as I get these wings out of here. You listen to the skin. You know that's crispy skin when you're hearing that. But when it comes to turkey, the major test is the breast. We want moist and we want flavor. We're gonna get that in the dark meat regardless, just because of the way it is. But with the injection, with the rub, with the spatchcock, everything that we do today is to make the best possible turkey, specifically turkey breast, that we possibly can. So let's find out and see how we did. Oh, I can already tell you, this thing, as soon as I pressed on it, I could see juices bubbling up. Ooh. It's still nice and hot too. Wow. Check that out. I wish you could see how juicy that really was. This is a super, super juicy turkey breast. Now I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna cut this. Well, everything that we did today is all about taste and all about how effective we can get a juicy turkey breast. So let's give it a try. I wish you could taste it. I wish you could see how juicy that turkey breast really is. I'll tell you that years ago, my family would deep fry a turkey every year, and truly, I didn't think it could get much better than that. The truth is, there is no better way to make a turkey. Do yourself a dry brine, do it overnight. I used some garlic salt from Lowry's. I like how coarse that is. Just use a little bit and then use a good herb-based rub, and let me tell you what, you can see how beautiful this turkey turned out. It's kind of hard to deny the results, everybody. If you like this recipe and you want to see more of my content, then I suggest you check this video out right here.